السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, I'm given this opportunity again. Today is the 20th of Muharram, 8th of September 2020. 20th Muharram 1442. I'm blessed again to continue with this work, and this is the first slide or first video with respect to my effort in sharing the environmental quality industrial effluent regulations 2009. And in this video we will take a look at the various requirement, but not well. For the start, it would be more of looking into the terms and their definitions, the legal jargons, the technical jargons involved, and also most importantly, we will look into Regulation 3 with regards to who are subscribing to these particular regulations and who are exempted. So these are all sources of wastewater, sources of industrial effluent. Nonetheless, not everybody is subjected to this particular law. Now, before we go on into that, let me remind myself and all my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, if you are already in a mosque and the imam or khatib is about to preach the khutbah, please stop this video and listen to the imam and khatib, or in any majlis ilmu, or in any event where scholar is preaching about our religion. Please stop this video. Okay, then let's go into our work. Now, I'm giving you some content, important content of this particular law. I'm giving you a summary of how it would look like. This is an overview of the content of this particular regulation. Now, the first one, I believe you are well aware that in this regulation, Industrial Effluent Regulation 2019, there is no longer the requirement for kebenaran bertulis as it was before 2009. So, if you need to do any work, especially installing or construction or building, or even modifying or even expanding your existing industrial effluent treatment system, all you got to do is to submit a written notification, a bunch of documents to the DOE, and that's it. We will explain that later in the next few videos. And all drawings, especially structural drawing, engineering drawing, has got to be endorsed by a professional engineer who is registered in the Board of Engineers Malaysia, if you're talking about constructing or doing any work in the construction of industrial effluent treatment system in this country. Okay, and in this law, it also specifies that we got to build and operate as we designed and as we submitted the design, the same design that we have submitted to the authority, unless if there is any inevitable modification to the design while construction is ongoing. Well, this is engineering in practice. Civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. Then any modifications, any changes has got to be put in drawings. It's got to be indicated in drawings and then resubmitted as per built drawing. Okay, and in this new regulations there are several new parameters which is being included and which was not found in the previous 1979 regulation. So this is 2009. You have now silver, aluminium, selenium, barium, fluoride, and formaldehyde, ammoniacal nitrogen, and color as new environmental parameters for effluent discharges. All right, and the chemical oxygen demand also differ from several industries, especially textile, pulp and paper. They are subscribing to different chemical oxygen demand discharge limits. All right, the rest will be, if I'm not mistaken, 200 milligram per liter, not more. All right, and in this particular law, apparently we need a full-time competent person which is trained and certified by the DOE. I believe you know EMAS, all right? And a competent person graduated from EMAS. And these people are well trained, well occupied with all sorts of experience and academic stuff to enable them to be competent. They even have got to do thesis, all right? It's an extensive course, which is I salute those competent person who graduated from AMAS. They are very good. However, the law stipulated full-time competent person. How about if we do not have a full-time competent person because our competent person is working in shifts? Maybe we have got several competent person. Or what if our competent person is working in production come competent person, or working as HR or production manager come competent person? They might not be able to stay put at the vicinity of the industrial effluent treatment system all the time. Can we contract out competent persons from other companies to be in our plant? We'll discuss that as well. And there are liabilities as well. Okay, and we have got to perform performance monitoring, and this law requires us to perform monitoring of effluent discharges, and we need to, by doing that monitoring, the data will be interpreted with regards to the efficiency and effectiveness of our IETS, Industrial Effluent Treatment System. And this is a must, and we have got to report to DOE periodically. If I'm not mistaken, we got to do weekly, reporting as well, and we have got to submit to DOE. Now, there's another term which is included in this law: best management practice. Now, this is not new. Most industrial effluent treatment system companies or factories having IETS, they have already, in fact, in practice, best management practices. What you've got to do now is to document it. And for any betterment in practices that you have, please document it, and that will be your evidence, okay, for best management practices. Oh yeah, bypassing ETS and dilution is not allowed under this law, and occasionally, inevitably, once in the blue moon, we don't know, you may have all this problem that would lead to an increase in the quality or the pollution load that is being discharged from your final discharge point. any emergency situations like this. If you are subscribing to ISO 14001 version 2015 or even earlier version, these are all environmental aspects. What are the environmental aspects? Treated effluent or even raw effluent in situations of spillage or accidental releases or even leakage in any parts of the IETS, the entire system. Any part causes leak or there's any leak, these are all in environmental management system ISO 14001 considered as emergency situation, and for that we have 6 hours only to inform DOE. You better do it quicker than that, because why? I think as this video is being recorded, we just encountered an issue with the Sungai Gong, Selangor, where the KL folks and several parts of Selangor, a few million people were affected due to water stoppage, and that water was the containment, the catchment area prior to the intake of potable water treatment apparently is being contaminated, and the authorities found the culprit and they have been sent to court and they are compounded 640,000 ringgit. I'm not sure. I leave the liberty of thinking and judgment to all of you, but what I see is that that particular incident has caused millions of people to be affected in such a manner, full of inconvenience, pain, suffering. I'm not sure that 640,000 ringgit would compensate those suffering. And the money goes to, of course, the Attorney General, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I would think that, for the case of Sungai Gong, the company should be given some public services to supply water to all the folks, and he should be giving an open apology, and he should be contributing to the community in one way or another as a payback to the suffering caused by his operation. Only one oil trap. Could you imagine it? And there are 2 points of discharges. Only one oil trap. Consultants, fellow trainers, IETS competent person, I think you know what I'm thinking. I think you know what I feel, okay? And some of you are affected as well. Now, think about it. What sort of justice is that? I mean, what sort of justice should be? I think he should be with the community, supplying water for a number of days, period of time, as determined by the public. I think that should be fair. Imprisonment is nothing. A penalty of 500,000 or even 1 million is nothing. It's all payable, But well, I'm leaving that to your good judgment. I'm nobody to judge that. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm sorry I shared in this video. And there you are. If we are reporting data and our data is not complying continuous, we are liable to prohibition order, meaning stop work. In health safety, they call it stop work, but in environment, they call it a prohibition order. This is a legal term. Now, upon evidence that we are actually having some non-compliance. Evidence means that we has taken sample, taken our what they call statement, etc., etc. That evidence of our non-compliance, the data can be used to take us to court, and they can take us to court using this regulation, not having to use the act, okay, the main act. All right, that's the law, basically what it contains in brief. And what I have here are some of the what they call terminologies, okay. Um, all right, let's get into the first one, definition of best management practices over here. All right, we'll look into this right now. Now, according to the law, sorry, uh, it's any means of practical, structural, or non-structural methods for the purpose of preventing or reducing the discharge of industrial effluent or mixed effluent containing contaminants. Now, the word is preventing or reducing, excuse me, contaminants in the wastewater, probably reducing the volume of effluent, probably reducing the load of certain parameters, suspended solids perhaps, COD or BOD, or even maybe certain other heavy metals, okay? And it could involve structural modifications. Perhaps there is some form of ammonia, what they call suddenly pop up in your effluent treatment plant, and there you are. You use adsorbents, good adsorbents, as I've seen in practice, such as activated carbon column. That is a good adsorbent. It can absorb ammonia and other volatile organics, okay? Or you may have some structural modifications according to this law to prevent and reduce, yeah, prevent and reduce. My conscience, some of you have attended my training on waste doesn't exist, right? Waste management ultimate. Now, what did I say in that training normally? To reuse the treated water. Look, listen carefully, because I'm not going to have special slide on each of these terms, okay? I'm just covering it right now. As is, where is what comes into my mind. Now, best management practices, I am more into the environmental impact. I'm more into resource conservation. Now, with that in my mind, I would reckon it would be a best management practice if we could, instead of discharging our treated effluent, whereby the company has invested millions of ringgit, if not a few 100,000 of ringgit, to build a treatment plant to treat the effluent, contaminated raw effluent, to a cleaner water which comply to standard B, which is literally, in fact, actually looks clear. It's not even turbid because all suspended solids has been trapped as sludge. Now, and the operation of the RETS, the treatment plant itself, is like costing 20, 30 to about 100,000 ringgit per month, including electrical energy plus chemicals and labor perhaps. Now, with all this investment in place, we are discharging cleaner water into the monsoon drain. On the other hand, we are buying water from utility supply, public utility water supply, pay them every month based on cubic meter, and most of the water is pumped to the toilet where we do our business to flush our business, and we are flushing water we paid, water we bought. What sense does it make? I'm suggesting this treated effluent be recycled back to the factory. Maybe you can connect a pump and a sump, reuse it back for utility, housekeeping, washing of floors, toilets, and perhaps gardening, etc. All other cleaning things. And the water will be treated as stormwater drain, but if it's washing industrial equipment, that has got to be effluent again. So what is left with us is just sludge. All right, but then nonetheless, for that to be done, you got to have notification to the DOE, to the authority, saying that you have some modifications. All right, I mean, that's when you talk about best management practices, I would go to the far end, that we do not generate any wastewater at all. Simple as that. Now, industrial effluent is another term in this law which refers to effluent, according to the law, any waste in the form of liquid or wastewater generated from manufacturing processes, including the treatment of water for water supply, or any activity occurring at any industrial premises, including wastewater that is being generated for potable water treatment. That is considered industrial effluent as well. And for the rest of the activities, industrial activities, manufacturing activities, where you have to discharge effluent from washing of mixing tank, from condensate, from all other sorts of sources, all right, those are industrial effluents. And you have here also mixed effluent, which is actually in some cases where the effluent is a mixture from industrial activities, manufacturing processes, mixed with water coming out from the toilet. This is mixed effluent. And a professional engineer is also defined in this law, whereby they are registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia. Sewage, I think you know very well, it comes from our businesses in the toilet. That is called sewage. It goes to usually, excuse me, alhamdulillah, septic tank, or perhaps in-house tank, and some other biological system perhaps. That is sewage. And from those tanks, if it's an aeration type, it will produce sludge. And also in industrial treatment plants, you got sludge probably from your flocculation coagulation tank. You may also generate sludge from your aeration tank and your clarifier. These are all sludge. And according to the law, sludge is any deposit of particulate matter settled from any liquid, including deposit resulting from physical, chemical, biological, or other treatment of water or industrial effluent or mixed effluent. There you are. Simple as that. And what is license? Some companies can't comply to the standards stipulated in this particular regulation, so they are qualified, of course, with very good reason, good data, evidence, all right. They are qualified to apply for a license to contravene this particular standards. Okay, so they are being licensed as well. And authorized officers are officers who come to do inspection or enforcement visits, who are having authority card, who are duly authorized by the Director General to perform the duty on the DG's behalf. These are enforcement officers that come and visit and inspect our premise. And parameters, these are an environmental term. The law can't really define parameters. I read you the law. The parameter according to the law is means chemical oxygen demand, or any of the factors shown in the first column of the fifth schedule or in the ninth schedule. That is how law define parameters. I have got no comment for that, but as we are, if you're an environmental scientist or a science graduate, even civil engineers, you know what parameters are. These are all the indicators of pollutant, indicators of the level of pollutant, the types of pollutant in our effluent. Nitrates is a pollutant. Mercury is pollutant. COD is a parameter. And COD may contain heavy metals, may contain some inorganics. All right. So, well, that's why it's difficult for law to define parameters. Now, batch discharge is whereby some of our friends, companies, excuse me, their method of production is scheduled, and their effluent is not discharged in a continuous basis. So they perform certain process that discharge effluent in a scheduled manner. So the effluent is discharged not continuously, but on in some kind of intermittent or periodic. So these are called batch discharges. All right. And licensed premises over here is referring to some of the premises under the law which is licensed by DOE. For example, scheduled waste recycler. They are licensed premises. Places like Trinican, like Quality Alam, these are licensed premises. For example, medical incineration plant. These are licensed premises. But how are they related to effluent? Well, probably they have got to use scrubber, a wet scrubber, to trap the air impurities that come out from their, processes. And that scrubber is a wet scrubber, usually water or perhaps some mild liquid to adjust the pH or to neutralize the incoming gas stream. And eventually they have got a collection of liquid at the bottom of the scrubber, and this liquid is highly contaminated with all sorts of volatile organics or even heavy metals, and they are then termed industrial effluent. They have got to be treated in an industrial effluent treatment plant or industrial effluent treatment system, therefore rendering them subjected to this particular regulations, which is industrial effluent regulations. Okay, simple as that. Now, the law also define industrial effluent treatment system. We just finished talking about it. According to the law, our honorable law, IETS means any facility including the effluent collection system. There you are, effluent collection system. Your what? Some pit. Your what? Equalization tank. Designed, I'm having the book here, constructed for the purpose of reducing the potential of the industrial effluent or mixed effluent to cause pollution. Wow, fantastic definition. The purpose of IETS is to prevent water pollution. Simple as that. Kau tim de. The Chinese verb is kau tim. After you kau tim, it is past tense. Kau tim de. While you are kau tim, the thing is kau timing. So that's, don't blame me for my spoiled Chinese. I'm spoiled by my Chinese counterparts. Okay, blame them. Now we have here this part. This is a crucial segment of this presentation. I'm doing it specially for you. Okay, if we are any premise that releases industrial effluent or mixed effluent, we are subscribing to this law, aren't we? It depends. It depends on a few conditions that I'm about to discuss below this. So, it could be industrial effluent, it could be sewage, or a mixture of sewage and industrial effluent, then we call it mixed effluent. And I want to show you this. There is this is an exemption clause, not subjected. Who are not subjected to this law we are about to see right now? So it is Regulation 3. Regulation 3 is stipulating that the following activities, the following premises, the following manufacturing processes do not subscribe to this particular regulation. What are they? The palm oil mill. The palm oil mill. They are having another law, 1977 law, if I'm not mistaken, which is regulating the effluent that's being discharged from palm oil mill, and also latex manufacturing plants, SMR and all this, they and cup lumps manufacturers, they are also subscribing to another law which regulates specifically effluent coming from their operation, and mining activities is not included here. Although the mining of gold do generate cyanide, but I believe it is regulated by another government agency, enforcement authority, namely PTT, correct me if I'm wrong, and they have other specific types of parameters. Now, nonetheless, if we are here doing processing, manufacturing, or only washing, or servicing, could be assembly plant. Electroplating work is a service industry. Doing what service? Plating services. Or any other products or goods that produces effluent in the following quantity and quality. Let's take a look one by one. If we do not generate 60 meter cube per day, it means that we are not subscribing to this law. But hold on, there is a semicolon. If we are generating less than 60 cubic meter per day of effluent, we are not supposed to subscribe to this law, right? Not yet. There is a semicolon. Provided our effluent, look, do not contain, what does it mean? Free from oil and grease. Free from, that is why chemists, if you have a lab, in your lab report, do not use this less than 0.01 milligram per liter. I've preached this since the year 2000, and I've trained this stuff to almost all the factories that came to the training, labs, chemists, and I hope they have, I think this knowledge has been going around right now. Now, if you report as in that manner less than, what does it show? This particular symbol, what does it show? Absent or present. absolutely absent or absolutely present. Now, in legal term, when we see less than, it means present. So, to ensure that our client is really not susceptible to this clause, not containing free from, we should report as, I think you know by now, not detected. Please report as that. And look, free from, there you are. One is not containing, one is free from, absolutely free from. So the same thing, not detected if you don't detect it, because this is about 0.01 is not about the concentration, it's actually about your instrumental analysis detection limit. You could be using a gas chromatograph or GCMS or spectrophotometer or infrared, whatever it is. It depends on those instruments detection limit, their sensitivity. Okay, so we don't want that to bother we don't want that to be interpreted by the law as present. So if that's the detection limit, then clear our conscience, we do not detect it. So say not detected. It is very close to the meaning of absent. Okay, now free from what? If we are not discharging 60 meter cube per day, we are discharging perhaps 5 meter cube per day, and our effluent does not contain oil and grease at all, but does it contain mercury, cadmium, chromium hexavalent? These are toxic metals, you know. Remember chromium hexavalent? Do you watch that movie? Yeah. I don't remember the movie name, but it was Julia Roberts then. Oh yeah, then the movie name comes in. It's Erin Brockovich. Watch it. Do we have that situation here in this country? Arsenic, cyanide is supposed to be capital N. Lead, chromium trivalent, copper, manganese, nickel, not nickelback, and tin. If we do not generate, again, if we only generate 5 meter cube per day, no oil trace, even slick in our effluent, and our effluent doesn't contain any of this mercury, cadmium, chromium hexavalent right up to tin, nothing. In other words, not detected. Remember that. Are we not subjected to this law? Supposedly, no. But wait, it's a semicolon. What? You got to check the next one. Our BOD load and or, not to say and, or suspended solid load of both not exceeding 6 kilogram per day loading, then we are not subjected to this law. Therefore, if we are a premise, an activity, it could be manufacturing, it could be washing work, it could be a contract work for some big company, some big manufacturing plant. We might be doing some of the midstream processes like plating, midstream processes like surface treatment of certain components. Check. If our effluent is not much, doesn't contain 60 meter cube per day, free from oil and grease, free from all these heavy metals, remember, and our BOD loading is, or suspended solid loading is less than 6 kilogram per day, my friend, at that point we are not subjected to the law. Otherwise, I'm very sorry, we have to ensure we are able to reduce or prevent the pollutant that is in our effluent from being discharged into any inland water system, the drain, monsoon drain, the rivers, etc. Therefore, in order to prevent those pollutants from entering the water system, the inland water system, we've got to build ourselves an industrial effluent treatment system to treat that water until it achieves the desired limits of the law prior discharging into those receiving water bodies, and we need competent person to be manning the so-called IETS. So with this, I hope you understand why, and whether, or rather, that we are subjected or not subjected to this particular regulation. Okay, we may not have all the heavy metals. Our BOD load and suspended solid may be very, very low. We are discharging only 1 cubic meter per day, but we have oil and grease. It's a washing. What? Washing of drive-through. Construction company, be careful when you do land clearing. Your lorries are coming in and out, and if we use water jet to clean up your undercarriage of your lorry, there's all grease and oil there, and when sample is being taken, oil and grease is detected. Therefore, you are subjected to this particular regulations. All right, then. I think that's the best I could do for this session, this video. The next few videos are coming on what we call it decoding effluent law, and I will try my best to share with you, and I hope this video benefits students and lecturers, especially if you're in environmental sciences. And I'm not putting this endeavor to supersede any other existing competent trainer by EMAS, or supersede or trying to prove that I'm better than DOE trainers, whatever. No. All right, I'm an old man who's about to vanish. So before I vanish, I want this knowledge to be with our younger generations, especially students and those of in companies who would benefit from this, because not everybody has got the luxury to attend training because they got to pay so much. Students can't afford it, and those in factories who just joined factories having this job of IETS do not have the idea of the law. This is the opportunity for them to entertain themselves with the understanding of this law. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, nothing more than that. So thank you for your attention, and for subscribers and viewers, thank you for your support. Subscribers and viewers, especially subscribers, I wish blessings from the Almighty Creator that you benefit from this knowledge and expand it into your own library and your own competence. So for those who have not subscribed, please do not hesitate to subscribe, so that when I post videos, you'll get it. I don't have time to really share it with other media, so I just concentrate my work in producing as good as possible that I could afford, especially videos like this. Thank you for your attention. I wish everybody Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.